Good morning. Welcome to Authentic Caregiving. We've been talking about living options. There's about 5 or 6 of them here in Forest Grove area, and there's several in Hillsborough also. There's country ones. There's ones that are tricked out facilities, and there's ones that are really pleasant also. There's small ones. It's going to include foster care homes, etc. It's the same thing. It's assisted living. One is, who decided it? Who decided to make that big move to assisted living? With my mom, it was her third husband and their family. And they decided to go to an apartment side first, which was a great idea. And then eventually they ended up on the assisted living side. So how do you decide whether it's a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom? It's nice to have a place to go. So I would choose probably a 2-bedroom, but that's more to take care of, but possibly it's not more to take care of because basically it's housekeeping that comes in and makes sure everything's clean. How long have they been in their other home? Because that matters, because you might have to downsize a lot or have an estate sale or something like that. And will you be visiting often when they're in assisted living? Wherever you're choosing or they are choosing, the care recipient, think about that, because they're with old people, elderly people probably my age and older, in the facility. There's no little kids really. So do you plan on bringing your children there with you? If you do, you're wise, because one, everyone will love seeing them, just seeing them from afar even. And also it helps teach the children the care and the love that's shown. And it really doesn't affect them as much as probably it is affecting the adults, possibly. I found that for myself. I had in another area that my son could play in, and he did, and he would greet his grandma, etc. But he wanted to play, and that was great. Also, don't be enticed by the most expensive looking place. Feel free to go to them and get the tour, because basically what you're doing, you're going in, setting up a tour, and going to see the place. Care recipient could go with you, or you could go alone if they have dementia a lot. And know the administrator that you're going to be dealing with all the time, because I found that some of the fanciest places had the least friendly to work with administration, and it had multiple layers. So that was really difficult to work through and to get things done. Also, sometimes you will need a certain level of care, and you need it to be able to expand so you don't have to move them again. That's the ultimate. It is a chance, I moved mom from a ritzy place to a middle of the road place, but they were great to work with. Administration was awesome, and they were attentive. And so that made it easier for me to navigate. Will they eat in the dining room? Or who are the people that'll be at their table? Better yet. Lesson learned. So take note of that. Ask them, who are they going to be with? And also, do they need transportation, and do they offer it there for meds, for shopping, maybe casinos? Do they offer outings? Also, this is a time to negotiate once you pick your place, what you will need. I needed my mom at that point to be on 2-hour checks. That means every 2 hours, a caregiver came in, gave her basic needs, wrote it down, logged it, put their initials and the time. So when I came in, I knew what was going on, and I knew that my mother had been checked on and taken care of. In other words, she was clean, and her meds were given, etc. She had very few meds to take. One. Okay. So Also, will they be eating in their room or will they be dining in a hall? So that's interesting. They can change. One time, they had a system set up that mom could eat in the dining room. She couldn't go there anymore. So they put the people that needed to be fed in a conference room. And that's where they all ate together, and caregivers came in and fed them. Okay. And then eventually mom couldn't do that either. And so they would come to her room and feed her, or I would, whatever, but she had to be fed. So that was a very kind thing they did. And it made her life a lot easier too. What activities do they offer? Do they take people to church? Maybe their church picks them up? A lot of times there's tons of activities in assisted living places. There's painting, music, they move their bodies. They can go on outings to nature places. So there's just tons of opportunities. Usually they have happy hour. Okay, one time my mom said, I think I'm going to go down to, it was by Safeway then, I can't remember what it was called, this big restaurant. And she said, I think they got happy hour. I think I would really enjoy that. And my brother and I looked at each other and went, what? She did not drink. She thought it was just going to be happy. People were happy there. And she thought that they would be kind and happy. It'd be kind of fun to have a little happy hour, have a little coffee or whatever. Oh my goodness, Mom. No, you won't like it. Happy hours in the bar. Oh, I felt so bad having to tell her. And that was when she was cognitive. So I love that. Okay, some other things to consider is, of course, pricing. And every option has a different value. So if you had meds in that they have to give, then that's more money. Let's see, 2-hour checks was more money in this one place. Everything that you add on is more money. So by the time we were leaving, Mom was, and this was 12 years ago, we were paying $5,500 a month for her to be there. Okay. So just to give you an idea, and that was 12 years ago. So I'm sure it's way up by then. And who's paying? Is it a Medicaid facility? Keep that in mind, because eventually their money may run out, maybe not, but their money may run out, and Medicaid could kick in. That's an option. Another option is for the family to get together and to pay their part, to split it up and pay their part. You could give them the option. And if it's taken, great. If it's not, okay, move on to the next thing. Okay. And then, of course, what are the 3 things you need? Power of attorney, a will or a trust, healthcare healthcare representative form, and an advance directive. You'll love it. So those are critical pieces, really, that will give you a lot of confidence in the years ahead with them. And especially do it before you need to implement it. Horrible to do it in the moment when things are falling apart. Do it early. It'll be great, because also you'll know their real heart on what they choose. Okay, so who's deciding that this move is happening? Is it the parents? Maybe elderly, aging parents, maybe both of them, maybe one of them. Is it adult children? And view the assisted living places, because it will be a big tell for you. Also consider their opinions. What are they concerned about? What are they anxious about? And validate those, of course. Just listen to them. And how will they know when they've seen the right place? What are they looking for that they'll know this is it? Also, if there's dementia, of course, you'll be moving them. I think I went over that last time, that you can move them within 2 hours, basically, because they've already pared down a lot of their belongings, and you want it to be a smooth transition. I did everything I moved, got mom moved. Somebody took her for 2 hours of the family and moved her, put it exactly like it was, everything. She slept for 2 days in her chair. I thought she might not make it. It was a huge transition for her. And that's how she handled it with her dementia. She slept for 2 hours, or 2 days, I mean. Barely cognitive. Water, yeah, okay. Yeah, she was exhausted. So take that in consideration too. It's going to be a big transition. Visit as often as possible. You know, bring your children. It's awesome. You're teaching them how to care for and love people and help them in small ways. You know, they could pick up their cane. They could bring their walker to them. I mean, there's all sorts of little things. Bring them a glass of water. Bring them a fork or whatever they need. Make it fun for the kids. You know, you could pick flowers ahead of time, some easy place. So they could also, if they're a little older, push their wheelchair if they're in a wheelchair. Perfectly awesome to include all ages at the assisted living facilities, because let me tell you, because I recently visited a bunch of them, it's hard there. It's hard. It'll break your heart. And it still broke my heart to see people who had not been seen, you could tell, for a long time. People that were distraught, holding their head in their hands. We used to have this cute little couple of gals, elderly women who sat on the couch at one of the assisted living places mom ended up. And they would just be gabbing to each other. And they had, I don't know why, but they had gloves on, like mittens, you know, with fingers in them, but they were mittens. And they would just sit and talk and visit. And sometimes they would both fall asleep, but they would be holding hands usually. They would just be sitting there. But they were sitting in front of a warm fireplace and they so enjoyed each other's company. Isn't that a beautiful thing? But I'll tell you that I can't even remember seeing another child in there besides my son. Think about it. Think about it. So assisted living, it's a possibility. And maybe they're yahooing. I want somebody to cook and clean and do the whole thing for me. So remember, life is a roller coaster. Be authentic, but hang on. You take care today.